later. Alexis will be joining me. Okay. Let's see. Got it. Got it. Hey, good afternoon all. Let me share my screen. Yeah, so over the weekend, we actually, due to the launch of the coin, which was an exciting event by itself. Yeah. We didn't actually do a Sunday analysis. Yeah. So actually, how many of you actually took part in the launch of the coin? Yeah. Because to me, I'm not involved in the crypto world, but due to the launch, I just want to get my feet wet. Also, did a fair bit of last minute curation on my own, read up, watch quite a fair bit of video. Yeah, so that I won't be actually joining blindly. Yeah. Well, I know it was quite a fun event. Yeah. Learn quite a few things along the way. Though I also actually messed up quite a few things, but that's part of learning. Yeah, still a fun thing. All right. So because Sunday we didn't actually go through analysis, I'll be going through the analysis now. Yep. So the first thing first that you can see on my screen, so the week, yeah, the previous analysis, let's have a brief update. Now, Aussie Cat actually didn't work out the way that I was hoping that it would. Yeah, so I was really hoping to actually short it. In the end, overall, last week, Aussie actually strengthened on its own. Yeah, so this wasn't a trick. Now, euro dollar is the one that's interesting. I actually got a stop loss from this trade. Yeah, so I actually traded this candle. Oops, wrong color. Change color. Yeah, actually long this trade. Yeah, I should have heeded the warning of the chart. Got out early, but I did not. So this resulted being a stop loss over here by this candle. Yeah, but on Thursday itself, I would say that I did mention if price actually give me a break and retest, then I would jump in for a short trade, which it did happen, and this was a really beautiful trade. Yeah, so you can see that price goes up into a zone, consolidates, break down again, retest. Yeah, so I live for this kind of trade setups, and it has rewarded me very nicely. Yeah, so last week, it was euro dollar give me 1% loss, and then rewarded me with a pretty good winner on its own. Yeah. Again, I don't really follow news, so probably this push down must be really due to NFT. Yeah, up to now, I still don't know what's the number about. Yeah, so for this trade, it was a two-way trading, bi-directional trade setup. Yeah, which I actually happily got in. So now for this week, what's gonna happen? Let's take a look. Yeah, so this week proved to be actually equally tough as last week, and I would say in a certain manner, it's actually worse than last week. Yeah, because last week I still can find something strong to trade against. Yeah, I wasn't right. Okay, admittedly, I wasn't right, but at least I can find something strong to trade against. What happened this week is that when I look at the currency indices, I have nothing strong all across the board. All I can see is weakness, weakening, potential, strength. That's the best I have. Yeah. So I think this week is going to be a really tough trading week for me. But I wouldn't want to actually overstep my boundary and say it too soon. Yeah. Sometimes it's just that when I think something is too extreme, then it may turn out to be a good week. Now, I may require some help from you all. So I've actually ranked, as usual, I've already ranked my currency indices, and this is what I have. So DXY from last week, I was thinking that from a price is actually in a range, bouncing off it has bounced twice already. So to me, this is officially in a range. Yeah, so I was actually prepared to actually short DXY, that means USD. But again, as you all know, dollar actually strengthened. Now its price is really near a horizontal level. Yeah, so by all means and measure, if I deem that price is in a range and price has hit a resistance level, I should actually be shorting it. That should be the governing thought. However, and this is a huge however, my difficulty lies in that, look, just remember DXY chart and look at the Euro index. The Euro index is just the opposite of DXY. I still think that price is in a range, and then Now price has hit a support level. Naturally, I would think that price would go long. This should be the governing thought, which is opposite of DXY. But when I go further down, pound is really in the middle of nowhere. Neither can I long or short according to the pound index. It's really just near 140. So I have to put it in the middle because it's near a strong horizontal level on its own. It's 140. I can't just ignore it. Yen is really also in the middle of nowhere. On a big picture, you see that I should be shorting, but really it's really in the middle of nowhere. Aussie index, again, price is also in the middle of nowhere. This is a short-term horizontal level, so it just performed a break and retest, but it's really small bar. Yeah, so it is not a definitive price action for me to trade. Yeah, so DXY, EXY is a subjective. Then the last three which I show you is really prices in the middle of nowhere, hard to trade. And now we have the Canadian index. Now this is somewhat definitive. Price goes up, reverse, break, retest. We have last week we have an inside bar, and price is near $80. So naturally, I would want to actually short CXY. Yeah, so cat pairs will actually be in my for swing trades. I'll actually be looking for the short cat if there's a setup. So Swiss. Now this one I might actually I need to actually ask Alexis what's her opinion, because since last week I've been saying that for Swiss, prices looks to be in a downward channel, waiting to short Swiss actually when it comes to 110 or when it actually goes up to the high of the channel. Now price actually did imprint a bearish bar, so looking forward to hear her thoughts, because as I understand, Alexis wanted to long Swiss. Yeah, but technically speaking, I'm looking to short Swiss. And then the most bearish of them all, I would say, is actually Kiwi. Now, I wouldn't say most bearish of them all, but one of the clearest direction that I have is also Kiwi. So it's either Swiss or Kiwi. We can see that price double top, break, retest. So naturally, I want to go short. Yeah, so across the board, I got nothing that shows me strength. And this is a time whereby if any of you can offer me alternative way of looking at the chart, I'll gladly receive it. Is there any of the currency index that you all see that is possible long? Yeah, because the highest possibility is still, to me, is DXY. Yeah, either I'm waiting for price to actually break, retest for me to go long. Yeah, this to me is a long shot, but I got to force that OPA in somehow. Or Euro index, again, price will just magically bounce off this. Yeah, so these two are the only one that I think that might have a possibility of strength. The rest is just weakness across the board. Anybody want to actually offer a differing opinion? Yeah, so due to that, because I got nothing strong to trade against, it will be a tough trading week for me. From this analysis, yeah, I got to make it clear that when I do the currency index analysis, it is just for me to look for a high quality swing trade. Okay, that's all I'm doing for when I adopt this method of analysis. Now, on the other hand, let's go to just pure technical by price action, which is what I was heavily leaning from last week. Yeah, so last week actually, from this style of analysis, just pure price action, looking at the weekly chart, driving down to H4, it gave me 3 stop loss. That's a bullshit start of a week. But when I was playing the what I call the devil's advocate, proposing a reversal trade, those reversal trades actually worked out well. Yeah, so first of all was Cat Swiss. Yeah, I remember that Sri actually got in a pretty nice trade. Yeah, so I'm still prepared to let this trade run. Yeah, so importantly is this closing of last week. Yeah, if price actually got rejected here, I will actually trail my stop loss further up. I won't close the trade, I'll trail my stop loss further up, but as of now, it looks pretty good. So I'm still willing to let trade go all the way up here. Yeah, so if this is a 5:1 trade for me, then I will gather this would nearly be an 8:1 trade for some of you who got in a better position. Yeah, especially for those of you who got in limit order. So this was a reversal trade which I proposed. Here again, euro dollar, which was also a trick which I proposed. Like I mentioned just now, I was stop loss here. I got in this long, stop out, and then price did a break and retest, and I got in for a short position. Yeah. So all in all, 3 stop losses last week, 2 running tricks. If I actually close these 2 running tricks, it will still be considered a profitable week for me last week. But we'll see how it turns out. Yeah. So for this week, I was actually looking at dollar yen long. Yeah. So it's still the same style of analysis. Sorry, a bit tongue-tied. Yeah. Bullish bar, really nice low test bar, which is my concept of trading price action is that it has to have anti-phase, which it did. So I'm just waiting for price on H4 for this week. Waiting for, this is the closing line. So I'm waiting for price to do this, retest, go long. So I'm waiting to trade here. Yeah, so same style. I hope I don't confuse anyone. Yeah, I am employing 2 style, different kind of analysis. Okay, one is the currency index analysis, which I only highlight 2 to 3 particular charts a week. Those I deem will be high quality trades for me. Yeah, sometimes it works out. No, actually, more than half the times it works out. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. And the second kind, which is what I'm showing now, pure price action analysis with fixed horizontal level, no second guessing. Yeah, which is also this. In terms of price movement, I'm still looking at break and retest. That's about it. Euro Swiss on the weekly chart, very nice low test bar. So same play, looking for closing line of last week, a break and retest. So price actually broke. Yeah, I don't have a retest yet, so I'm patiently waiting for any sort of retest. Happily go for a long position. Now gold. I think Louis was it Louis? Just now you were typing gold long. Yeah, gold. So on the weekly chart, this was an ugly looking, no, actually fantastic looking low test bar on the weekly chart. On the H4 side, waiting patiently for this. So price is actually somewhat below. Nice start. Actually, what causes this bar? Anybody want to hop in for explanation? Yeah, so I don't know yet. Same thing, waiting for a break and retest, go long. So yes, my bias for gold is actually to go long. Yeah, so we shall see what happens this week. USD, SGD. Again, same thing on the weekly chart. Very nice low test bar. And on top of that, you can see that this is where it's actually rejecting off. Yeah, beautiful. H4. This is the horizontal. This is the close of last week, by the way. So price shoot up. Now having some sort of consolidation. Now this is my plan B, whereby I'm still considering to trade this. So my plan B way of trading, I do trade mini flex, whereby there's a huge extension, then price consolidates. So I'm waiting either for a false breakout or a break and retest of the mini flag itself. Yeah, so this is a plan B of my trading. If it happens, I will highlight to you all. Yeah, might not be so clear now. And the last on my list, I'm looking to short Aussie dollar on the weekly chart. So you can see that, oops. This, I don't use, truth to be told is that I don't usually take this kind of low test bar because there's really no space to the left right at the start. Yeah, but my plan B, why it attracted me is that I have 2 low test bars. Yeah, so I have a pet chip trail for trading two test bars. Yeah, just that I like trading it. It's just sort of like a Singaporean way of saying double chop plus confirm. Yeah, so we shall see how that turns out for H4. I'll probably be shorting it if it gives me the chance. Yeah, so let me have a look at the chart. Yeah, so this week I would say it's proving quite a tough week for me to trade. Basically, you're hoping to scale in at 0.725. That's for the CAD Swiss chart. Am I right? 0.725. I don't mind scaling in for this chart if actually price does this. Yeah, so for me, it will be actually more like 0.728. Then I'll be scaling at this portion. Yeah, I mean, it can happen this way. Yeah, so this is really the scale in point for me for CAD Swiss. Yeah, anyway, I've already secured my 1:1. So any scale in is actually a bonus to me. So we shall see how that happens. Yeah. I mean, that's the nice thing about trading reversal, isn't it? 0.725 is a weekly pivot. Okay, okay. Yeah, the euro index and the DXY seems like there may be opportunity to long euro dollar. But like I said, the clarity isn't there. That's the tough part for me. Why not this way? I'll be irresponsible on my part. All the pivots, I will throw it to Alexis because since I decided to adopt to show you all how I trade in this manner, which doesn't use the weekly pivots. So I will throw all the pivots to Alexis, even the H1, H4, and daily, and see what she has to say.
Well, I trade on the H1, so it is a bit of a tougher. I mean, yeah, it's a bit of a tougher week today. This week because of all the pullbacks.
Actually, before that, before Alexis jumped into her sharing her thoughts, yeah, just want to ask something personal, but I think it's good to share with the others because we trade quite closely. Not that we go into each other's house, but we do share our thoughts. Is that so for Alexis, for such trade like euro dollar, cat Swiss, which last week actually I shared is the reversal, and then you said that you're reluctant to get in because it doesn't suit your strategy. I mean, it doesn't suit the way you trade. Now, in the event that it turns out right, which I'm right for now, don't talk about psychologically how you cope with it. But let's say this week, how would you convince yourself of an opportunity to get in for a reversal? For you, won't be a reversal. If the reversal is over, it will be more of a trend continuation. How will you convince yourself to get in? Not violating your trading rules.
Actually, this one, right? I got in later than I think I got in at one of the EMA bounces. So but I'm also out already lah. Again, it's a different. I think it's different style of trading. Let me just share screen. Okay, and press the share button. So this is the cat Swiss on the H1. So let me just show you where the numbers are. I think 0.72 was where Sui got in, somewhere here. Where do you get in, Lloyd?
Should be somewhere DS2.
DS2. So DS2 on my screen is here. This is DS2. All right. So what happened was I definitely missed the 0.72. I definitely couldn't find a way to get into DS2. I don't know whether what I did was I actually waited for the retest over here. I actually got in on a small trade over here. Let me just draw the shapes. I don't know whether you can see this. This is a what you call a reversal engulfing bar. So it actually broke above DS2, came back and retouched DS2, and then had an engulfing bar above here. So my trade was actually over here. Okay, so I got in a lot later than Lloyd and Sui. So but my stop loss is also just this much. All right, and what I did was I actually got out somewhere over here at this fractal, somewhere below, I think over below here, because I had a fractal level over here. So this was a very small, maybe 1:1.8. It doesn't look quite like 2, but maybe 1:1.7, 1.8 trade. So this was my cat Swiss trade. It's a very fast in and out. So definitely not holding on to this. Definitely will look for another opportunity. So I was looking at it today and I was interested to pick it up when it touches daily pivot, but it didn't touch daily pivot, so I can't go in yet. But what I am interested on the hourly time frame is to see if I can pick up a couple of moves when it bounces along the daily pivot. So if we go on a longer time frame, bigger time frame, I think what I'm looking for is I'm looking to trade the upstairs and downstairs of the move. So it's a bit more I mean, I'm comfortable this way because you can see if I zoom out on the H1, you can see how the daily pivot just goes up and down, up and down. So what it means is in the bigger perspective, the price, even though it is generally moving towards the downside here, it is moving down in a very choppy manner, right? So my aim to trade pairs like this is to just stick to the strategy and to pick up the pips on the way down. So I don't have to be holding it, but how it helps me is I don't have to sit through the reversals or the retracements. So same thing, what I am waiting for is, this is the staircase that has already started for this side, right? I don't know where it will end. I don't know how high it will go, but I'm looking to pick up maybe a couple more trades along the way up so that I'll go in and out, but at the end of the day, I won't have to sit through the reversals and to wonder, should I take my profit now or not? So if I zoom in again to give a bit of perspective to that comment, right? It will be, I mean, and also because I trade on a shorter time frame, it means that if I enter here, okay, if I enter here and price goes up here and I don't take my profit, when price comes down here, I'll be thinking, oh wait, is this going to be a reversal moment, right? Because you can actually see a resistance level over here. So if it makes me think too much, right? If I try to hold on to the trade too long when it is not my personality to hold on too long, so I rather just take the TP where it's supposed to take it, and then I'm happy with it. And even though it moves beyond this area, the next step will just be very simple. I'll just look for another place to get in. So it cuts out all the noise in my head, but that's a very personal way I trade lah. I mean, I think if I sit in the trade for as long as Lloyd and Sui does, I might be having, oh wait, price is coming back out. Should I take TP? And I'll be, every time price retraces, I will be thinking extra. So I don't really like that, which is why I do a very simple take the entries as they come and exit when I'm supposed to exit. So that's my way of I say managing the way I trade, or managing myself when I trade. So
I say, really a
yeah.
true hunting dog. Eh?
Yeah, I very, it's really hunting dog lah. I mean that, but that's my personality, because I've got too much free time, so I tend to overthink. Like the more I look at it, the more things I see. So it's actually the less the less I look, the less I see. Is actually simpler. So I think it's about keeping it simple. Yeah, because I think if you guys look at how Lloyd and myself trade, every single pair, we have a reason to go long, we have a reason to go short. So you can just imagine this whole conversation that I have in my head if I'm, to sitting down and just watching it and trying to ask myself, do I go long? Do I go short? Do I TP now? Is it going to retrace? So it's a very noisy place. So I rather just keep it simple, take out the noise and just follow my own way and my own style. And then when it goes, I don't have to think so much. So that's just a personal way how I manage my own noise in my head lah.
Any comments about Louis trade, Aussie dollar? He's waiting for weekly pivot.
Aussie dollar.
Yeah, we trade to weekly pivot to go short. Yeah, let's have a look from the. I will throw the H4 to you for the pivot, and then H1 and see what you have.
It looks nice from just a first look at it. It's nowhere near any of the pivots. Yeah, let me just see where. It looks pretty okay on the monthly. Weekly, okay. I have questions. Aussie dollar, right? Aussie dollar.
Yeah, he was looking for Aussie dollar short.
I'm a bit reluctant to go short when I see the daily time frame. Actually also can. Wait, let me just see on the weekly. So I need to see whether it has room to go, right? We need to see whether this pair has room to move. Okay, so on the weekly time frame, it is at an interesting place. It is, if you see where price is now, it is just on the weekly 200 EMA. So I think it's a good place to hunt for a short trade if price can give us some kind of a move below this line. You can see the very nice horizontal level here. On the daily, it does look like a potential bearish flag pattern. Okay, I do see what you're seeing. We have weekly pivot flattening out, so it is an indication of what you call it, that the spring that is being loaded. So I think we have something like that is giving us a little bit of a loaded spring. And when I go to the H1, I can't see anything on the H1 at the moment, but I do I do see that on the H4 it has I mean on the H4 it has an opportunity where it broke past yesterday's pivot, but my question then is, can we get enough momentum to break the DS1? Yeah, I mean I do see a potential short, you know, but is there a reason? I can't go in yet because for my entries I need it to be a little bit further from the first level of resistance. So my first level of resistance will be over here, right? The bottom of this here. So I need more space. I need more space to go down here to at least make it worth my risk to reward, right? So if price can at least come up to daily pivot and weekly pivot intersect, you know, and enter somewhere higher, like short for a better price, I might be interested. Okay, or even better, if I can pick a shot from here, I might be interested. But if at this level where it's so near the DS1, I'm just not sure that it will not come down, do this again, and then go back and do this again. So it's like you know, because there is some resistance at the bottom, right? It will come down here sideways, then go back up in the middle, do this, you know. So I'd rather pick it up from the extremes of the so-called small rectangles, the tighter ranges. I mean, there is an opportunity for short. Personally, I can't find a reason, but you know, I'll probably wait and see whether it comes back and touches the daily pivot, or maybe tomorrow it touches the weekly pivot. So I'm not going to rush into this particular trade. The US market has not opened yet anyway, you know, but there definitely is something there, I would say. Fundamentally, my bias, I mean, I'm still fundamentally bullish on the dollar overall, you know, because I think being the biggest economy in the world, being a major player in world markets, being a majorly traded currency, and it has been doing a decent quarterly GDP. You know, it's moving, it's shaking. It definitely has potential for long. So against the dollar, I prefer to bet on a stronger dollar. So I'm pretty comfortable fundamentally considering a short Aussie dollar in this case. Let me just check my squiggles. All right. So this is the Aussie dollar, and this is on a monthly time frame. So yep, definitely comfortable with a short here. Let me just make this is a I want to go on a weekly time frame. This is a weekly time frame. Again, I think weekly time frame it's pretty interesting because wait, this I don't want that to happen. Let's move this back there. If we look at it on the weekly time frame, it is interesting because you can actually see momentum building. I mean, if I put a simple black screen on, you can see that there is a I mean, depending on where I put the line, horizontal line, right, I can either put it here where this green candle has already broken below and holding it there. So what it means is on a shorter time frame, if this price is not broken to the upside, then there is quite a lot of space before it hits the next support level on the weekly time frame. If we look at it on the daily, this is the bearish flag that's appearing. Okay, so we have this flagpole thing. We have this flagpole that's happening. I mean, it does look there's a potential for a bearish breakout. So the potential is there. The problem now for me is finding the entry that fits my rules so that I can put the trade on and I don't have to worry about it, right? And not break any of the rules. So definitely we'll look for an Aussie short. I'm just chopping the hour. I can't quite. So, you know, yeah, definitely room for shorts. So if you go back to the trading screens, I think what I'll do is try to pick it up on a daily pivot touch. Either somewhere on the top of this triangle is somewhere I would prefer to pick up this trade. Yeah, so I have to wait for a reason. I don't have a clear reason to take it, even though I want to go short. So maybe maybe we can find something on the daily time frame. On a daily time frame, I think you can take a standard, I can't even take a daily wave rider trade because the pivot is going up. So, all right, so now I know why Lloyd threw this to me, because he wants to find me 50 cents, right? I am not going to fall for it, okay? I'm not going to break my rules. It's very, very tempting, all right? But I will wait because I don't want to get fined 50 cents for breaking my rules.
A dollar, a dollar.
$1 now, okay, $1.
Okay, I'll provide a compelling alternative view. Not alternative, but compelling reasoning. Yeah. So, because just now I was already sharing that I'm ready to go for Aussie dollar short. So, really, this is the level that attracts me, because I was saying that I have two high test bar. Just that this is not the usual high test bar that I'm looking for, but two high test bar really attracted my attention. Yeah. So H4 side, I have the last week. That was a close. So if price actually increase a high test bar and close below the line, I'm happy to go short. This is the clear-cut way of looking at it. Yeah, I'm not really complicating it. Yeah. But to zoom out on a bigger picture, this is actually what caught my eye when you just now share your screen. So if I don't offer a compelling reason,
Oh yeah, that's the break and retest.
would this be a way that attract any of you to actually jump in? Is it because this to me is a quite a clear channel, right? So price right in between channel, break, retest of a channel, yeah, and then on top of that, the cluster of closing price which is near here from the past, which is the blue line. So this essentially forms a level for me to trade off. Yeah, so this is actually, if I disregard my strategy, just looking at pure chart analysis, this is actually what draws my attention to the chart.
Mm.
Will that assist you in breaking the $1?
Okay, for me to answer that, let me look at the 15-minute first. Yeah, I go down and see. Actually, yes. Now that if I look at it on the 15-minute, right, I think the clarity is starting to show. Okay, so what I will be waiting for on a 15-minute is to wait for the 15-minute cyclicity. If I can get a lower low, I mean a cyclicity that appears, that shows me that the shorter term momentum is going, then yes, I'll jump in. So on the 15-minute right now, we have our first lower low. And if we can get a lower high, or if price looks like it can break that lower low, then that is where it looks good enough to jump in on. But until that clarity forms and not just a squishing of the candles, I will still not break my rules lah.
So yeah. Gary was saying that, Gary, are you saying this is a head and shoulder, inverted head and shoulder on the 15-minute time frame? I will agree with you. Just that I don't call it head and shoulder. Comically, I'll just call it the Batman boomerang. Just look at the boomerang that Batman threw. Yeah.
I'm very bad at reading head and shoulders, but yeah.
Oh, 4 hours. He was saying the 4 hours.
4 hours.
Yes. Sui was saying what? Would test the. Oh, you have to grab the screen for that, Alexis. Test the monthly pivot at 0.74. Where's the end?
Yeah, I see first. Actually, yeah. I mean, the monthly pivot but it's very far away on the H1. So if price goes back all the way up there, I mean, I'm assuming this is what Aussie dollar, is it?
Yeah, Aussie dollar. Do you want to grab the screen?
Okay, let me grab the screen. So many screens I have. Hang on, and share screen.
Wow, Gary, I don't really see the head and shoulder on H4 actually.
Okay, so this is my screen. If we look at the H4 of this, okay, I'm just cleaning up my charts. I mean, I don't see the monthly pivot on the Aussie dollar. It's here. It's a bit far away lah. I mean,
oh, So Swiss is actually waiting for a false break.
So trade this back long, is it? Or you are doing the trading, the how you say, trading from the bottom up towards the long side here. I mean,
I think she's saying that she's waiting for a false break of monthly pivot to trade short, if I read her words correctly.
to trade short, but monthly pivot is quite far away. So maybe on the bigger time frames, because monthly pivot is here at the top, right? At the top where this blue line is. False break.
So that's Jeff's way of okay, I get that. Grandpa Jeff strategy, long to get short.
Oh, I see. Long to get short. Okay, I don't really know his strategy, but it does. I don't know if I have patience to wait for it to go all the way back up. By the time it gets up to multi pivot, I might have forgotten about this trade already. Yeah, it will take maybe a day or two, or to get back up there. But I will see it if it comes lah. So if when I wake up and see price there, then yes, definitely we'll take a shot there. But usually I just trade what the chart is telling me. So for now, my I'm trying to find a reason to go short. So if you look at the 15-minute, okay, I'm lagging a bit. Let me just swap to the 15-minute. Okay, so this is the 15-minute. Let me just remove all the colors again. Okay, so on the 15-minute, what I can see is price is finding a resistance over here, right? It is clearly having difficulty going above this line, right? But for me to find the reason to go short, there are two things I'm going to look at. Number one is the moving average, the 20 moving average over here. Okay, so this is a little bit more, this is a little bit income creator, in terms of looking at the EMA as a point of entry. But I need to see cyclicity as well. So at the moment, if we do this, there is absolutely no clear, there's no clear cyclicity. There's a slightly higher high here, there is a higher low here, so it's not clear yet. So unless I can see cyclicity starting to give me a a kind of a clearer indication that okay, the momentum is really going forward, or the momentum is ready to go, what charts like this will possibly tell me is, because there's maybe the US market is not open yet because it's a Monday, price might do this for a while until we have another 3, 4, 5, 6, 4 hours. So maybe nearer towards the US opening, then we will probably see some actionable trades, right? And for these kind of trades, I don't want to take the trade and walk away. I would like to sit down there and exit or move my stop losses when it is time to go, because high chance is when we hit the 7, 8 o'clock towards the 9 o'clock period where markets are opening, we will have this, we can have moves that look like this. Yeah, but the problem is at this point, I got another 3, 4 hours to wait. So I'm not in a rush to jump in now. If you get what I mean. Yeah, because again, I think if you see last Friday, price just went nowhere because of non-farm, right? So nobody dares to trade the US dollar, right? And then after that, the moment, this is assuming nearer to market opening hours, price will move and then it just goes back to the date again. So I prefer to pick it up somewhere. I mean, find a reason somewhere at this places before the US market opens. What time is this? This is a number 15. Yeah, so 15. The candle number is 15:30. So I think 15:30, if I'm not wrong, it should be somewhere more later. And what time is 15:30 on our
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock? Yeah, so around there lah. So probably 7-ish, nearer to 8, I will sit here and wait to see whether I want to jump in. So this is more of a, I will sit in front of the computer and place the trade and finish the trade, then I stop.
So actually, I think Jeff and Ash has a really positive impact on the audience. Yeah, so Sui has a clear trading plan. Louis was saying that he's waiting for a 20 EMA break and retest, which I think is very similar to how George trade the 15-minute time frame. Yeah, yes. George trade 15-minute time frame, break and retest of 20 EMA. I think he called it AD equals CD move or something like that.
I think Chloe does the same thing also in for her income creators. When she used to before she had Max, now she's busy with the baby, so we don't see as much of her. But this is how Chloe trades as well. a break and retest of the EMA with a combination of daily pivot. So it's very, very interesting, especially on the 15-minute time frames.
Can we have your thoughts about gold long and possible oil weakening? Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I have to give a disclaimer. Okay, I don't trade gold. Okay, I don't do gold analysis. I don't trade gold because gold doesn't like me.
This is an ugly looking way at gold, man.
Yeah, it's ugly looking way. I don't really usually I just take Ainsley's thoughts on gold, but I don't trade gold. I don't do analysis on gold on my own because I haven't had much. I don't have a talent for it, so I'm not going to do it. I can't seem to see where it's going. Oil, on the other hand, I have better luck with it. All right, I have a better luck with it. So this trend line was there because I was waiting for it to give me that break and retest. This is on a daily time frame. All right, and it did do that, and in the end it gapped down this morning, which is a bit difficult because I can't even take the entry on the upside here. But what I do for oil is just very simply trade the daily pivot moves because oil is very structured, right? So um, it is easy to trade oil if you just follow the pivots very. I mean, you just manage your risk and just follow the pivots in a very structured manner, and you catch it when it moves away from the pivots. That's how I trade gold. Sorry, how I trade oil. I just follow the pivots because it either goes away from or towards the pivots. So it seems to work for me. In terms of where oil is going in terms of pricing, I would say a bit hard to comment at the moment because oil has gone up. Let me just move the charts. Well, I think we use let me see if this gives us a bigger view on that. This is monthly. Okay, I think it is difficult to trade oil further long. Or the reasoning I have is nothing has fundamentally changed about the usage of oil, right? We haven't had, I mean, people are talking about opening up travel, but it's all just talk, and talk can happen for a very, very long time. So the prices that are here, this is back in 2015 all the way to pre-COVID 2019 over here. So we're looking at this entire area where it's at our height of travel, height of tourism, and you know everything is still it's what I call the pre-COVID era, right? And what prices has done now, okay, prices has reached to almost pre-COVID highs, right? It's reached to pre-COVID highs, right? So probability wise, so I'm just looking at probability. What is the probability of oil heading up to the 90s? It's going to be very, very slim because fundamentally nothing has changed. And we have already touched pre-COVID highs, right? So how do we go higher than this is if we have an increase in demand for oil and we start to get short on supply again, or maybe you know, the government bombs some oil field somewhere that causes all the you know, that there has to be a reason for it to have a shortage, or some pipeline, you know, breaks and pollutes the sea. I mean, there has to be a there has to be some kind of news, some kind of major event that causes the shortage. If not, if we look at probability, well, everybody is talking about opening the borders. Who is actually flying for holiday? There's no one doing it yet. Yeah, I mean, yeah, yeah. So at the moment, it's just talk. So until something concrete, you know, until this, because talk can happen and happen for a very long time, right? So until something concrete changes, we see the first bunch of tourists all vaccinated and all actually, you know, beginning their flight somewhere and not preparing for it, because the preparation process, it's like start, stop, start, stop. They prepare for it, then suddenly, you know, it's closed again. You prepare for it and suddenly outbreak here, they prepare for it. And so this can happen for quite long. So will price ever drop down to the lows again? Again, I also think it's very hard because we do have sufficient supply. We do have, I think we have settled into a regular demand, right? Shipping is still happening. Goods and services are still going around. So we have gone down into a regular demand. So what we have to look at now is price points. For the industrials, the commercials, When is it time for them to accumulate oil? Is when it's cheap. When when they sell, they have. I mean, it's just a very commercial. It's part of business right now. When oil is expensive, what you do, you try to sell more and you try to store up more. Okay, when price is expensive, you try to sell more. When price is cheap, you try to produce more and you try to accumulate more, so that when price is expensive, you can sell again. So it's back to the business cycle. Yeah, and that is how and that is why I trade oil in a very structured manner. If you look at daily time frame, okay, if you look at daily time frame, this is my past squiggles. I usually squiggle on this on my Sunday shows, just to, and I'll leave the squiggles on there until things change. So you can see over here, this is daily time frame. So 2 weeks back, I was talking about the only way I'll trade long oil if it can bounce and break above this line, and I will trade short if it does this. So we have done that already. I'm going to remove the squiggles now, so it's a bit cleaner. Okay, so we're looking for that cyclicity downside. And then last week, same thing. I will only trade long if I can find some kind of break and retest towards the upside, but we didn't get the break and retest. Instead, price actually broke below this and just went down. So what it means on a shorter time frame, that the cyclicity or the momentum is towards the downside. So same thing for this week. Okay, yesterday was Sunday. I didn't cover oil, so I can cover oil now. So we have this level over here. So I think for oil, trading oil, I usually adopt Lloyd's break and retest because it's very structured. It breaks the price, it will retest the price, because it's a matter of people thinking, is it cheap or expensive? So it's a very simplified sentiment. I'll call it a very simple sentiment way of trading it. So when we translate it shorter again to hourly time frame, my favorite time frame, it really is, you can see that if I can just pick it up away from the pivots, right? Right. Maybe this one is I might get a loss. If I don't exit here, it'll be a loss because it went back up. But again, what I'm waiting for is moves like this to pick it up from the pivots. So I'll wait for tomorrow is to see whether that pivot is broken and take it back down again. And that is how I trade oil. Just a very simple in out, trade by trade. My exit is usually 1:1, 1:2, because again, oil is very structured. So unless I can, or unless on a bigger time frames like H4, for example, I can sit through, I can find an entry and then sit through that long run. If not, usually I just take it as the pivot comes. Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah.
Oil to me, I believe oil. I actually just shared I can't believe I actually shared a TikTok video. That's a video which I shared with Alexis about the oil. When I first, I shared it on the chat group, on the chat, by the way, so you all can actually have a look at it. I can't believe someone actually has a, what do you call that, options contract at $100. Yeah, I was like, shit, that person must be really, really optimistic about oil.
Yeah, or either that the person knows something that we don't. Like maybe he's the one that's bombing the oil field. I don't know. I mean, right? I mean, he must have some information that, or I mean, we don't know whether that's correct information, but he must have some information of why oil will hit 100. But at the moment, based on my information, I can't see oil hitting 100 yet. Not yet lah, not yet. Until the information changes.
I think oil will, personally to me, I do invest in oil, but this is too early a timing for me to get into oil. Usually I get it after September period, because people usually burn more during the winter months.
Yeah.
Yeah. So to me now it's a bit too early to get in. I believe it will rise, just not now. Yeah, but that's from my stock side of reading charts.
Yeah, I agree with Lloyd as well. So if you imagine you are let's say if you are a big company that generates heat for people that are living in cold places, right? Companies like that are the ones that if oil is cheap, and they're gonna start accumulating it for the winter, right? And it depends on whether or not they have accumulated enough, right? If they have accumulated enough, then as prices go up, they don't have to buy so aggressively, but they can just average their way up. But if they never accumulate enough, they have to buy more when the prices are reasonable to them, because they absolutely have to last through the winter, last through the winter months. So if prices are expensive during the winter months, we still might see some buying. It also will be because people who expect price to pull back and didn't buy it cheap enough, they have no choice but to buy oil no matter what is the price, because they need it. It's a mode of it's a matter of usage already at that point. Yeah.
So another thing which I think just now Sri was saying that she left a buy limit at 1660 last Friday for gold, but missed it by a couple of pips this morning.
Ooh,
So that means
wow.
it's lucky for you lah. If you didn't get trading, that means it would have saved you a trade. Am I right? Yeah. I'm also sentimentally, I should correct myself. In the past, I will agree that the year-end period is a bull rush for gold, but I wouldn't actually agree for this year. Yeah, I also do invest in gold, trade gold towards the end of the year simply because it's a festive period. The Chinese will buy gold, the Indians will buy gold. Just for the festivals. Yeah, for this year, actually, I would disagree. If you compare the consumption of gold between the Chinese and the Indians, the Hindus, the Indian market actually, I don't know. I would think the Indian market actually consumes more gold. Yeah. So if you look at this year, I think the Indian market is quite sad due to COVID, more deaths than necessary. By that reasoning alone, I think it'll be tough for them to be happily buying gold.
Yeah, I probably agree with you on that as well, that markets is just not optimal for a gold purchase right now. But I think the theory, I mean, and I have to disclaimer first, I don't trade gold actively, I just follow Ainsley, and I just follow very standard strategies. I don't usually analyze this because, again, it doesn't like me lah. So if I say long, you go short. If I say short, you go long. It's very funny one. Okay, so I just disclaimer first. But my assumption at this particular year is, okay, so we have a bunch of regular commercial traders in gold, right? So these are the gold commercials, the ones that provide the jewelry or whatever, or use it in their products. And then we have the hedge funds. Okay, the hedge funds, the ones that do the investments, trying to grow their portfolio. And then we have the retail traders, the small people, right? So in the last 2 years itself, we have seen the retail trader market, get a lot bigger, because of technology, because everyone's stuck at home, and because there's so much advertisements for it that is so accessible. We have a lot of new young traders coming up. We have a lot of people that have made lots of money in just buying any stock and holding it for the last 2 years, right? So this entire bunch of retail traders over here. Now we have this extra thing called Bitcoin. Okay, Bitcoin. And if you are a retail trader, you are new to all the markets, you will have no preference on what market to trade. You won't have a preference on commodities, you won't have a preference on stocks. The only preference you have is whichever gives me the profits. And so we have a whole bunch of retail traders exploring Bitcoin. And this is why Bitcoin is doing crazily well. And it's not just Bitcoin, it's Shukri's NFT games, the launches, all the weird stuff that's going on. And we see prices going up because of all these people that the only aim is for profits, right? And this is the market currently that is the one that's providing all this money somewhere. And then you have the bunch of hedge fund people that are now seeing the value in Bitcoin, right? We have Bitcoin ETFs, we have governments approving Bitcoin, and we are seeing people also putting money in Bitcoin because the acceleration here is so fast. All right, people are greedy lah. So if you are a hedge fund manager and you have a good understanding of both Bitcoin, you have a good understanding of both gold, do you want a product that gives you 10x, 20x, or even sometimes like how Shukri says you can go 100x, or do you want gold which gives you maybe 5x, 10x, max? I don't think gold gives that kind of 100x because it doesn't have that kind of volatility and movement unless you take crazy risks. So this is my thought process on why I think gold might perform differently this year. I don't know whether it's going to go long or short, but I think the behavior of the commodity has changed because markets has changed. So that's my couple of cents worth on this.
Actually, I would tend to agree with you on with you, Alexis. This was actually my train of thoughts a couple of weeks back. Yeah, it's exactly along the same line. And just to further bolster my point, it's not that it's not that I hate gold. It's just that less and less I find that gold has a relevance. Please correct me if I'm wrong. It's just that as new traders comes in, or rather put it this way, who places a high emphasis on gold? Any bankers here, or any hedge fund traders here, and anybody who has been investing in the past 20 years? Can anybody tell me who places a higher emphasis on gold or the value of gold? that will be to me personally how I read it is my grandmother, my grandfather, my 60-year-old banker. Yeah. But the new batch of traders that comes in, anybody who's been trading in the past 10 years, then I would say the sexiness of gold would have faltered compared to what Alexis has just presented. Crypto and NFT would be much more a better choice, be it for hedging, maybe wrong for hedging. Yeah, but just that you have to understand the mindset of the newer traders. They would deem crypto as a hedge, actually. Yeah. And to further bolster my point is that, look, I mean, this is last year news. Okay, last year news. Yeah. But as you said, India and China, which are the two largest markets, US and Turkey is also a large market, but combination-wise, India and China actually accounts for quite a huge chunk, more than 50%, for 80% drop in a gold jewelry demand in December quarter. Yeah, so if the two largest market accounts for a drop, then really I don't see any good reason for gold to rise. So, and the last paragraph would actually be more of what we are more related to us as traders. Yeah, because we are more familiar with central banks and hedge funds. Yeah. So again, anybody out there, please correct me. I would love to hear your views. Is that the structural investment in gold here to hedge the risk of rising geopolitical tensions, and blah 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 blah. So actually, what geopolitical tensions we have now? So yes, US and China, they have this lasting tension, but anybody with a sane mind would know that they actually wouldn't go to war anytime soon. At least that's what I feel. Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's hard. Sentimentally, I would agree that gold would rise because of charts, because of purely just a chart. But what I feel, and that's the reason given for the past 10 minutes, is that I don't think gold will actually rise because the demand is no longer there. The relevance of gold has dropped. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's interesting that you showed that, because on the other hand, I'll take back the screen and show you the article that I have as well. On the other hand, if any one of you can just Google this, right? What are the users of gold, right? If you look at what gold, you look at what gold is traditionally used for, you know, dentistry, right? Dentistry probably will still stay in space. Whatever's been done is done. F&B, cosmetics and beauty, right? Printing, and I think this printing thing, you know, now is the 3D printing, but again, it is such a small market that does this. Computer electronics, I believe there's still demand there. I mean, because typically with technology, I think gold will come into this industry a bit more. Mobile phones, everybody now has a mobile phone. Will there be an explosion of mobile phones? Question mark, right? Glass, arthritis, weight loss, you know. So you can look at the usage of gold. I mean, if you compare gold to oil, right? And I'm saying it because, again, gold doesn't like me. I don't quite like trading gold. But if I just compare, the reason why I chose oil is because where do I use oil versus where do I use gold? Right? That's my answer to why I trade oil and I don't actively trade gold. It's because the relevance, like what Lloyd said, it's like, where do you, like, who else has a gold toilet? You know, I mean, like, where do you use gold these days, right? Maybe Lloyd has a gold toilet, I don't know, but no, where do you use gold, the practical usage of gold, other than a precious metal for investment, right? Or a commodity like oil, which is it's non-replenishable, because once we use it, it's going to be depleted, right? That's why oil is
mooncake.
moon.
The last time the practical use I have for gold is to buy those atas mooncake, which is now for my parents and grandparents. So gold flakes mooncake. You know.
Gold flake mooncake. Yeah, I mean in F&B, I think they use it because apparently it's flavorless and cannot be digested by the human body. So after your parents eat, let's not go there. Let's not go there. I'm just joking, okay? Yeah, but it's just funny, yeah.
They'll be shitting gold.
Yeah, literally you'll be shitting gold. I don't think we can use the S word when we are streaming, though. We might get locked.
I'm sorry. Not that sorry. But yeah. Okay, I will end off the show with something that Louis, is this what you're trying to tell us? So Louis was saying that the chart pattern repeats itself. And I went to look at the gold chart. Actually, today is not Wednesday. Why are we talking about gold? But never mind. Yeah. So Louis was telling me the gold chart actually repeats itself. So when I look at the, let's have a look at the monthly chart. So is this what you're saying? Looking at compared to this chart and 2012 chart. So price breaks, waterfall movement. So when price breaks, just waiting for a waterfall movement. Louis, is this what you're looking at? I would say there's definitely similarities in it. Yeah. So, and one of the similarities that's actually jumping out at me right now is this bar, the latest bar on the monthly chart, which is still forming. And yeah, so this actually happens on April. So still a very long tail bar. So if this tail bar actually is the same as what this is showing, plus the overall chart representation, then personally, yes, I will agree with Louis. And also that would be the same as what Alexis and I have been saying, that history might be repeating itself. So if you look at, and the similarity is there, especially when you look at the daily charts. So same thing in our weekly charts. So just remember this, it's in the channel, price breaks, all hell goes loose. And then 2012 as what has been brought to my attention. Once it breaks this, all hell goes loose. So he says that Louis says that I'm right. And sentiment cycle. I'm not versed in the sentiment cycle, so I cannot comment anything about that. But in terms of chart movement, then yes, I will agree with you 101% that the similarities are there. And wow, if this is true, I definitely won't get a retest, because as I know commodities, when they break,
They fly.
they do, yes, they do fly. In this case, waterfall. Yeah. So that, I mean, this will actually go against what Julian and forgot her name.
Ainsley?
Inslee. Yes. This will actually go against what Julian and Inslee is saying. Yeah. But personally, I would think this is definitely worth to keep a lookout. Whether to go short. And in view of that, I think now it's not a good idea to go either short or long. It will be wise to actually wait out and see what happens next. Yeah, I don't think you're going to wait very long. It's just probably a couple of weeks time, and you'll get a clear result. Yeah. So, wow, interesting thing that I got up today. Thank you, Louis. Thank you, Sri, for sharing your thoughts. And thank you, Alexis. Yeah. So with that, happy National Day. Have good food, and let's all celebrate tonight. And see you tomorrow. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye. Bye.